This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Grumpy Coffee, a specialty coffee, an absolutely beautiful blend. We've got very grumpy, we've got everyday. Go to grumpycoffee.com.au. Check it out. Not only do we have the beans, we've also got pods. Check it out at grumpycoffee.com.au.
Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to an episode of Bloke in a Bar. I'm here with the man, Tommy Starling. What's going on, brother?
Kempy, thanks for having me on, mate. Looking forward to spending a few yarns with you.
Mate, I'm stoked to have you on, brother. How's the body feeling after the season?
Yeah, it's feeling good, mate. Obviously, getting the off-season and relaxing always makes it feel a lot better. And towards the end of the season there, I'm sure everyone agrees with me that everything's hanging on by threads. And so, yeah, it was good to get away for a bit, mate, and relax up. And round to go now, training next week. So keen to get back into it.
Mate, and just hearing whispers that you went to the great Mexico on the break. Mexico, what was that like, bros?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was real good fun. We had Ryan Sutton's wedding over there. So, it was good. It was a good, relaxing wedding at sometimes. Sometimes there's a good little bit of partying going on. But I was over there with Rapper as well and a few other boys. And Makatoa was there too. So, it was good, mate. Sun was shining and tequila was flowing. So it was really good fun.
And there was one man that was supposed to join you that unfortunately couldn't make it.
Yeah, had to pull out late. Literally, I think it was maybe 4 days before the flight. He got caught in the Aussie camp. So, obviously, playing in Australia, going to Mexico. He kept messaging me every day. What's it like over there? I said, nah, it sucks, mate. You don't want to be here. Unfortunately, Hado missed out, but he's going good. Playing some good footy for Australia.
You can't doubt that he loves his country.
Yeah,
you can't doubt he missed a boys' trip for the... 100%. Mate, like... as always with the Raiders, and I'm guilty of it. Every year I come in, at least the last few years I've come in, doing the preview for the season, the Raiders, and they go, this position here, they need this, need that, or, the spine's not really settled. Like, how are they going to use Starling? Is he starting? Is he off the bench? Then you've got Fogarty, and who's going to be at 6? There's always usually, and yet year after year after year, you guys continue to buck the trend and buck expectations. What was this season like for you boys?
Yeah, it was a bit of an up and down one, mate. To be fair, we obviously had a pretty young team coming into it, and there was that talk around losing Jack was going to be a massive loss for us, and it was. Like, he's a massive he's Jack White, but I thought Ethan Strange stepped up into that spot and played some really good footy there in his first year of NRL, and then losing Jamal early hurt us a lot as well. Had a couple of younger boys have to step up to the spine. Had a bit of some changes there, but I think it was a big year for us in terms of a stepping stone into this year. I think there's some boys there that probably weren't expecting to play that much first grade footy, and for the long haul, that we're going to be better for it. As I sort of said, we had a lot of young boys stepping up and playing a lot of NRL footy, and they're going to be better for it. And then we're going to expect them to step up again this year and take their game to the next level. And then missing the top 8's unacceptable for us as a club and as a team. We've got too good of a team to miss the top 8, and just left a bit of a sour taste in our mouth moving into the pre-season. We've spoke about that and at our end of season review, and we've got to be better. So as a club, we expect to play finals every year, and as a fan base, they expect us to be competing for championships as well. So that's a big focus for us going into the pre-season. That'll be a massive pre-season for us because we did miss that top 8. But if you try and take the positive side of things, there's a lot of positives where some young kids probably didn't expect to play that much footy, and we're going to be better for it.
Yeah, I mean, I know you didn't make the 8, and it's a testament to Ricky and your squad that you're frustrated with that. But I have to be honest, heading into this year, I thought because you were rebuilding that you would slide quite a bit. And again, you proved me wrong. You definitely proved me wrong. I've got such admiration for what I always like about the Raiders is whether you make a grand final or you miss the 8, you still play Raiders footy. There's a DNA and a culture there. Yeah. What do you reckon? That's quite a unique thing. Even some teams that finish in the top 8, they actually don't have as strong a culture and DNA as the Raiders do.
Yeah, I think it's been built over years, mate. You obviously had that championship side that had that core group. They won sort of 4 premierships, and then they sort of built again off that side that went to the grand final, had some really good key players, and then I think it's obviously spearheaded by Sticky as well. In the recent years, it's every team that Stick coaches is going to compete hard. They're going to be in the fight, and it's going to be a tough physical game of footy every time. Stick's created that culture down there, and he recruits players that play to that sort of that standard of footy. Is that tough tough footy. So I think it's going to come back to coaching and then the leadership group filtering that message throughout the team.
And what about yourself? Because you're in this kind of like really unique position where you offer so much coming off the bench from an outside perspective. And please correct me if I'm wrong. I really love you coming off the bench because you're explosive, you're quick out of dummy half. However, I'm sure you probably are sitting there going, "No, I would love to be the starting hooker." Again, I could be wrong. Where do you what is your dream role? Is it being impact or is it being the starting nine?
I have a battle with myself every week where I'm I can see both sides. I want to play every minute of every game. I want to be out there. I'll compete. That's what I do. I love doing that. And then I want to challenge myself to be able to do that. I've done it in the past. I've done it, for stretches of games where I've needed to. And but then also Stick always explains to me that it's what's best for the team is me come off the bench and bringing that spark. And I'm a team player. I love making sure the team succeeds and does everything right. And so. Look, as I sort of said, I'm sort of torn between two. I train I want to be. I train and I prepare myself I'm going to play 80 minutes every week and every pre-season. And Stick knows I do want to start. Don't get me wrong, I want to start
for sure.
And Stick knows that. But when say it's round one and he goes, mate, you're going to come off the bench. You're going to be that impact player. You're going to be that spark that comes off the bench. I don't go kicking stones and I don't go, this is shit. I go, no, that's my role. That's what I'm going to do. But Stick knows that I want to be the starter.
Cool.
But he's got ultimately got to make the decision what he thinks is best for the team, and then my mindset changes. I go, that's my role for this week. It might change next week, but this week it's come off the bench and bring that spark and being that and impact.
I guess you're 26 still. So you still, especially in the 9 role, I feel it's one of those roles that it's so nuanced and we often talk about how much important the 7 is and they've got to be the footy brains of the team. But I'd make the argument 9 is almost, it's at the very least, it's as nuanced as 7 role in my opinion. And so at 26 years old, you've still got so much to learn. So who knows, by this coming season, or the next coming season, you may have developed into an 80-minute footy player. You know what I mean? It might just be that.
Mate, it's a tough position, mate. You got to be smart and you got to be making 40, 50 tackles a game, and they're not there. And then you got to lead the line speed. It's a tough position, man. It's tough out there. You got to be smart. You got to be able to think on your feet real quick. You're going left, going right. Listen to him, listen to that, whatever it is. And then you also got to be able to work hard and you got to win your wrestles and do all that sort of stuff. So it's a tough position, and the players that can do it for long periods of time, it just shows how good Cameron Smith was. You always go back to him. He played. Well, how many games did he end up finishing on?
426 or something. 46
to do that in the middle for that period of time and be so good. It's crazy. And then you look at all the good players, man. It's such a cool position to be part of. And we always do say as hookers, halfbacks are hookers that don't know how to tackle. So. Sorry to all the halfbacks out there. All the hookers know what I'm talking about. But so it's a tough position, mate. And I love playing it because you're in the thick of it all the time.
Yeah. At 4:30.
4:30. Crazy. Yeah, crazy.
Just NRL too. Crazy. Oh my God. It doesn't get. I guess we do appreciate hookers for sure. I can't believe as a winger I just laughed at a halfback making tackles. That's almost that's disrespectful.
Got a bit of that for sure, Kevin.
But this year for you, if you had to rate your season personally, how would you rate it?
Look, I'd get asked this a couple of times, but I'll just go back on how the team performed. I might have the worst game of my career, but the team wins. You know what? I'm gonna be shitty myself, but we won. You know what I mean? Or I might have the best game I've ever played, but we lost. I was playing some decent enough footy there. We weren't on a stretch where I was starting, but we just couldn't get a win. And people, we're playing good footy and that, but we're not winning. So I look at the season as a fail because we missed the finals, and that's all I'm sort of focused on, is making sure our team is successful and stuff like that. And there's parts of my game that I need to fix up and make sure to help the team get us into the finals and get us pushing for top 4s and stuff like that. And I think it's a genuine thing around us down at the club as well. There's maybe he had Hutto had a great year again, but he's angry because we didn't make finals. Same as Joey Taps. Joey Taps had a great year, but we got Dally M front row of the year, but we didn't make the final. So we left that salty taste in our mouth. So I think that's how we're sort of judging ourselves down there, is making sure the team succeeds first, and then everything will come on the back of that, the individual accolades. So that's how I've sort of focused on myself anyway.
Yeah. And how has it been? You mentioned them, just briefly, but guys like Strange, even KO Weeks, like moving to fullback and killing it. Those two players, they really played above probably what there was expectations of them this year. What was it like seeing those young fellas kill it?
It was good, mate. I actually, Stranger, when he moved down, he actually jumped into the house with me, so it was good. He's a fellow Central Coast lad, so it was good to see. His dad actually coached me SG ball, so it was good to see him come down and over the last couple of years develop into a first grade player. And obviously Weeksy, like, it was a bit of he's played a handful of games, and we just weren't sure what he was going to offer to the table. And as soon as we seen his pace in pre-season, we're like, yeah, wow, he can be a definite role player for us and do something for us. So. And obviously he stepped into the halfback position when Jamal went down, and then when Jamal come back, we sort of had to find a role for him in the team and got moved into fullback, and I don't think he looked back from there. So
did you know he was that quick at training?
Yeah, he sort of in pre-season, because you got your ass hanging out, so you didn't really get to see him open up. But we knew it was quick. Like, mate, we got some speedsters in the team. We were talking about it. We've had a few discussions. Like, I reckon we might be up there if there was a 100-meter sprint. We got like Xavier,
Savage,
and we got Sebi Chris, who gets going. And then obviously Weeksy. Like they're I'm not to say they're in the top, let's say 6 in the league at least. So like Seb Chris gets going when he's got a good stride on him. And then, I'll throw myself in the mix there. I'll bring it home. So like, as I said before, I don't like Weeksy probably didn't think he would be like, he obviously would have been training to do it. I don't think he would have thought he was going to play like almost a full season in the thing and earn himself a new deal and playing Prime Minister 13. So there was a few instances like that where we had a couple of young boys like Ada Moriata and Trey Mooney playing some good regular first grade. So as I sort of said before, I think. Look for us to take another step in the pre-season this year, and the boys really knuckle down and take the team to a next level next year.
It's I feel like KO, like even I knew he was kind of, there's footy quick where you're just like, he's considered a quick player. But I didn't know he was that quick. Like
it's a funny runner style too. It's not like he just like scurries and he just goes. Like that try that he bit of runaway against Melbourne, like that was so good. It was down there in Melbourne. And he burnt their fullback. That was crazy. I think I just kicked pressed it and he brought it back, and had my ass hanging out. And then he's made that break. I don't think I celebrated with him. I just started walking back halfway once he got in the clear. So,
thanks, mate.
Yeah, Thank you. It's good having that speed.
Mate, growing up, whereabouts did you grow up? Newcastle, sorry? Yeah,
so no, I was originally, mum and dad were originally from Windsor, and then they had a dream of bringing their kids up on the beach, and they worked their asses off. Dad as a bricklayer, mum as a personal assistant at the time, worked their ass off to save up and got us up to the Central Coast, Avoca Beach. So that's where I grew up, and it was a pretty cool place to grow up in at Avoca. It's a tight-knit community, good. Like, I've got an older brother that's 2 years above me, and then a little brother that's 3 years above me, but all our mates are mates. Like, we always used to hang out together, and it was a pretty special place to grow up. Is
that north of Newcastle or south?
Central Coast.
Okay.
Yeah, Avoca Beach. So Central Coast is where I grew up pretty much. So it was a pretty special place. Like, everyone knew everyone, and I had a good core group of mates. That it was footy in the winter and cricket in the summer. So it was pretty fun growing up there, mate.
And we've got a segment brought to you by Grumpy Coffee. I got to ask you. What makes you grumpy and what turns your frown upside down?
So I'm not a big fan of traffic. Traffic, mate. Like, coming into Sydney, like being down in Canberra, there's not a whole lot of traffic. Coming up to Sydney here to come in there, I got a bit of traffic, and I started, tweaking out a little bit in the car. So I'll have to say that turns me, that makes me a little bit grumpy. Sorry, and then. I'll have to say, probably that turns my frown upside down. Just hanging with the boys. I love hanging out with the boys. I love being in the locker room, joking and having a laugh with the boys. So I'm going to say that, or a good cup of grumpy coffee.
There we go. There we go. There we go. Thanks, brother.
Back there. There you go.
Boom. Mate, so you go up south of Newey. So who was your footy team growing up? Was it always footy for you?
Yeah, rugby league. As Dad supported Western Suburbs, so and then when they obviously combined to make the West Tigers, so I was a West Tigers supporter growing up, and so Robbie Farrer and Benji Marshall was a regular watch on Sunday Arvo, watching them at Leichhardt carve up. So that was my team growing up.
Mate, the West Tigers. So that would have been 2003-ish till about 2000.
Okay. Till recent. Till I went to Newcastle, I guess. Still got a soft spot for the Tigers. Me and my mate are good. We always cheer them on. So
yeah. Do you remember watching the grand final 2005?
Yeah, but Dad went to it. I remember I was at one of my dad's mates' house. We were all watching it there, and so that was, I do remember watching that sort of. And then, mate, I think, like as I sort of said, watching Benji and Robbie Farah carve up when they were doing chip kicks and all that sort of stuff, going out and emulating that. But I think one of the one that stuck out to me was when Robbie Farah squared the Anthony Watts up in the scrum down the bottom there. At in the scrum. I remember Dad sitting there like this was like, I still remember it. Like I think he hit Robbie or something happened. And then Robbie started packing in the front row of the scrum, and Dad stood up going, he's going to square him up. He's going to square him up. And I'm like, what's a square up? And then, so it's happened, and I thought, like, my dad's going, how good's that? That's like old school footy, and like loved it. And I think me and my dad went out the front with me brothers, and we were packing scrums, and we pretended to punch on with each other for the rest of the afternoon. So that was like a pretty cool memory of mine, is watching the Tigers. But yeah, so I was massive Tigers fan. I had the jerseys and all that sort of stuff. So I used to try and get to a few games every once in a while. So yeah.
And so growing up, did you play all sports, or were you just like, mate, I just love footy?
Mostly footy, and then like I played a bit of cricket. Played cricket probably up till I was up to about 13 or something, 13, 14. And then when footy started to take off, like where you could sort of start making rep sides and stuff, I sort of had to make a decision. And I kept getting clean bowled in cricket, so I thought maybe I'll go move on to rugby league, give that a fair crack. So yeah, probably played obviously cricket in the summer like everyone did, and and then but footy sort of started taking off, and was more rugby league.
And so what age do you reckon where you had to kind of make the choice between cricket and footy?
I think it was sort of 13, 12 where the sort of rep sides sort of coming into play where I thought, and I sort of got, like, as I sort of said, like cricket took up most of the days on Sunday in the sweltering heat, so you're sort of like, all the boys are going down the beach and that, and you're going to play cricket. So sort of just decided to go the footy route. But like footy was always my number one. Like I needed a footy in my hand all the time. Like it was, but yeah. So.
And so you said you made some rep sides at 12, 13 years old?
No, not necessarily. More 13s, like the local Central Coast Centurion side. Sort of started making the teams around there, and playing like the Newcastle Knockout Cup and all that sort of stuff. Then made my first real sort of rep team was the under 15 Chargers thing, that they have a big development team the year before Harold Match. That's where me and Hutto linked up. That's where we first came across each other. We played each other a few times in like the Newcastle comps where Maitland plays Central Coast and Newcastle, and there was a few other groups that sort of come into play, and used to give Hutto a bit of a hide in our Central Coast side.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
He used to smash him. He he used to cry all the time when we smashed him up. I swear.
That's
anyway,
good.
But yeah, that's what I sort of 15s is when you sort of put a Knights jersey on in their sort of charge. It was called the Chargers squad. So that's what I sort of.
And so about 15s is when did you make any of the like New South Wales squads or country squads?
No, not up till then. It was just that the local Central Coast, development sort of team, rep side that your best sort of players from that district sort of got picked from, and you go playing that Newcastle Knights comp. Like I missed out on a few school things and stuff like that, which at the time sort of hurt you. But making that Central Coast rep side was probably like the pinnacle of sort of at that time age, making that, and then it sort of got to a point where it was either go to that under 15 Chargers development squad thing, or like the Central Coast. It was a bit of a weird thing at the time where the Central Coast was trying to keep all their players on the Central Coast, but teams were sort of Manly were picking up a few players to go play Harold Match, and Newcastle were picking up players, and Central Coast wanted me to be in the Harold Match squad under 16s, but then the Chargers was under 15s, and you only played like 3 or 4 games. It was more of a development squad thing, and then or you could play like a full year of Harold Match or be in the squad. So it was sort of a decision that we had to sort of make, and Dad luckily sort of had the foresight, like sort of saying like, you got to get in that pathway, so go join the Newcastle development squad. So that was the path we sort of took. And so
at about 16 or like because I guess when you're 15, 16. When you don't make the bigger rep sides and whatever, it guts you. Guts you. What do you reckon? Like, was it a mixture of you just love playing rugby league, but also, your father backing you, say, look, don't worry about it. Because like some kids just that kills them and they don't go back to footy.
Yeah.
Like,
so like I was still like making them side, like, and then in that 15 side, like they just took a big group of it. And it was like that next year making Harold Match was like the big run. Like playing Harold Match was like at the pinnacle and stuff like that. So I made that side, which
that was the focus more.
That was more the focus.
Okay.
like Dad was pretty switched on. Like, don't worry about the school stuff. Like, school teachers coaching them. Don't worry about it. Like, I didn't make any of the school stuff. So like when you're making the country rugby league Central Coast Centurions, so that's the side that you sort of want to be making. So I was making them, and
so it's good that your dad kind of knew. He knew like, the lay of the land.
School stuff. So cool. It's still young. Like you still haven't developed yourself. Then
it's funny because like in soccer, I'm pretty sure the school stuff was the only stuff, or there was vice versa. It was one or the other. Yeah. Like whereas in league, obviously there's both. You've got the school stuff, but you've also got that rep side out of it.
So I made the Triple C side.
Okay.
I can't remember how old I was. That would have been what's that? What years they do that? 15 or something like that.
Okay, so anyway, you were so there or thereabouts.
Yeah. Okay. So I was there or thereabouts, and then got
because like I'm just looking at this, and by the time you hit under 18s, you're clearly going bloody well because you win. Player of the Andrew Johns medal.
So played Harold Matts. We ended up winning the national title there. Had a good core group of boys.
Were you playing hooker there as well at that stage?
Yeah, hooker. So I was originally a halfback. I was playing halfback, and then one of the recruits up there, they used to like just being in the middle of it all. Like I was a halfback, but I used to defend in the middle for my local King Campbell Colts side, and they had a pretty good halfback up there at the time, and he was one of my best mates at the moment. So I can credit him for pushing me out of halfback, or maybe if I stuck to it, maybe got a bit more of a paycheck at halfback. But, so I made that transition into 9 around that age, and then we had a pretty good side. A few boys actually have kicked on from that Harold Matt side, which is there'd probably be 3, 4, maybe even 5 of us that have sort of played from that Harold Matt side. I think we lost our first game and then went on the undefeated the rest of it. So
no way.
Yeah, went to the national title. And
who'd you play in the national title?
Northern Pride.
Okay.
We beat Penrith in the final.
Wow.
So, it was a good little team we had there. It was
because Newcastle have good juniors.
Yeah, mate, arguably them and Penrith, I'd say they've probably got the best juniors. And at that time, like Newcastle's catchment sort of fed onto the Central Coast too, which a couple of young kids have come out of as well. So yeah.
So you basically in 2015. You obviously made those sides. You're doing really well. You won the Newcastle Knights Carlson Club and Andrew Johns medal for our best under 18 players. But then in the same year, you win Player of the Year in the SG Ball under 18 side.
Yeah.
I guess, did you, and maybe it's a little bit too early, but at that point, did you start going, wow, like I actually could be on trajectory to, hit an NRL club at some stage?
Yeah, 100%. That's the goal. Like as soon as you sort of understand that you can play NRL at a professional level, and that's like what your job can be. I think that's your goal. Like pretty much as you see that, like how good's that? I want to be an NRL player. And as a kid, you want to be an NRL player, but you don't really understand what comes with it all. But like as soon as like you sort of get in the system and you're like you're being around there and you're winning a couple of awards and stuff like that, you're like, oh, this is what you want to do. This was that was all I wanted to do was play NRL. Like so that was definitely a goal. And I guess at the time I didn't realise it, but like I think it was the size that was always going to come into play. I think obviously the knock on me was they'll be too small moving up the grades, and maybe in Harold Match they thought, good player, you can play this one, but I don't think you might be able to play SG ball. And that, I think that just kept moving up. Like, you can play SG ball, but we'll be able to play 20s and sort of move
kicking
on
the can down the road kind of thing.
I just sort of took that on. Like, and again, I don't know anything different. Like, I've never been the big kid. I was never like the big kid that never grew up. I was always a small kid, but I was just like, I don't know anything different. So I don't really like, it's just how I play footy. So,
In your head, you're basically sitting there going, well, hang on a sec. Like, I've handled myself well up until this point. So why wouldn't I be able to handle, the next step? Or when people were saying that, did it get to you a little bit? Did you know what I mean?
I never really like, always knew that I was a bit smaller than everyone else, and like the old jokes would come out by the boys and that. But like, it never affected me until probably moving into maybe reserve grade, first grade sort of area. I think like it never really got brought up until then. Like, you can sort of get away with it as a Harold Match, SG ball, under 20s, you can sort of get away with it a little bit. But I think moving forward into the first grade, getting into the first grade squad and stuff like that, that's when it's sort of becoming like, oh, this might hold me back a little bit.
Yeah, okay. And did anyone specifically say to you, like, mate, you're just too small, or was it just these hints here and there kind of thing?
Not really. Like, I never like,
because you're winning like player of the, like, you know what I mean? Like, it would be one thing if you were a part of these squads but not winning player of the year, but you're winning player of the year in a Newcastle side stacked with good players.
Yeah. So like it was pretty funny. Like I sort of went through the grades pretty quickly. Like I finished an SG ball season, then started playing 20s, that NYC comp that year. Like I was, I played like 5 games that year as a 17-year-old. Like, so I'm like thinking like at the moment it's not holding me back, and I didn't think twice of it. Like as a young kid, you think you're bulletproof and do whatever you want, like, you know what I mean? So it never really, until I probably started training first grade, where they sort of say, oh, we need to like put some weight on you to even be competitive. Like we need you to put weight on, But no, never really had a coach come up to me and say, mate, you're too small. You know, like not going to make it. Like no coach would do that to a kid. Like they probably just don't. I think they could see how I worked hard, I did everything right. I was, and like it was almost like, I think we've got to put him in the squad, give him a go at least, and see what happens. So, like I knew, like there was times there when I was like, I started training first grade, like pre-season and that, and like I just couldn't put weight on. Like I'm doing everything, protein shakes, getting up in the middle of the night, like doing whatever I can. To do that, sort of like put weight on, and I'm still weighing myself in. I'm still like 76 kilos, 77 kilos, like, and like I always just thought like I need to like sometimes I'd weigh in there like put a couple of things down my pockets and stuff like that, just so I could sort of just keep like where they're not going to go, oh, he's too small, like straight away, like just keep myself in it, because I knew I could play at that. I knew I could do it at that level. Just that it was a worry for a bit there.
Yeah, and I guess for any other young fellas that might be hookers or halves that get told, because like even I was told you're too small, like and it was. In saying that, it was from a random Derek. It wasn't from anyone in the and he just said, mate, like you play like, and granted I was extremely skinny. I was a soccer player at the time, but when they heard that I'd signed with the Broncos, he was like, what? You can't play NRL. You're way too small. I guess your advice to a young fella that's kind of constantly getting told that, because clearly, although like you're probably too humble to admit it, but it's clearly your hard work that kept knocking back that claim, because you just kept ripping in.
100%. Look, it's something that my dad taught me at a young age, is like you just got to work hard for things. Like if you want it that bad, you just got to work hard. And the things that I could control was how strong I was, how fit I was, and how tough I was. Like like when you've got 100 and whatever size kid, big dude run at you, like you've got a decision: do I just go over the top of the ball and hold on and give up 10 meters, or do I go low on him and put yourself in a vulnerable position and cop a knee or an elbow somewhere there, or and go low on him and make a good low contact tackle on him. So the things that you can control, like I can't. Trust me, I've tried. I've been hanging from bars and that, try and stretch me out out a little bit, but like it's just one of them things that you can't control your height, and people deal with other things. People are too slow, people are too big, you know what I mean? Like people deal with all types of different stuff, and my one was I was going to be too short, probably wouldn't be able to mix it up in the middle. So all I could control was how hard I worked, and I'm not afraid to say it, that I work hard. Like I'll put the hard work in, and it's something that you should be able to be happy with what you do with yourself is work hard. And how strong I was and how fit I was and how tough I can be. So that's something that I can focus on, and that's what if the kids do reach out to me on Instagram or wherever I am that say like, oh, I'm getting told too small, and I like, don't listen to them. If you believe in yourself, you can do it, and just work at what you can work on. Yeah,
and I think that the good thing about the hard work side and being tough is like you will find most coaches will just appreciate and respect that so much. They'll just give you a crack. Yeah, 100%. And that's all you need is just give me a crack, and I'll show you what I can kind of do exactly and what you've done yourself. Okay, so you win the Player of the Year, and then you're going extremely well. At what point did any other clubs come interested, or was it just the Knights that came interested for a first grade squad position?
No, so I was playing 20s there, and I think I started playing a bit of reserve grade, maybe just 20s, and then I moved up there. Like I love the Knights. It was a great town. It's close to home. I moved out of home, moved up there, and started going to school in year 12 up there. Lived in a shared house with the Safidi boys and a few others, so it was a good fun there, moving out of home for the first time. And I was going to school still, so I was just floating about, and not much studying was going on. So, moved up there, and I started training with the 20s and stuff like that. And then you just slowly just work your way through the grades, and got a pre-season. Got a full-time I think it was like a training trial deal, but like a full year one, where it was the whole of 2018. I think that's when I started, did a full pre-season.
When that contract offer comes through, what's the feeling like? Because I'll never forget the first time I got asked. Yeah. It's like, it's almost as big as your debut. It really is.
It's scary. It's like, you're like, oh, going to mix it up with the big boys now. Like we're not in under 20s or any stuff anymore. So it was like, here we go. Like this is time to this is it. Like not make or break, but like this is where you got to step up to the plate. And it was a tough preseason. Like it was, I think the Knights might have finished last that year, or so it was November 1. We're back in, and it's like a big 12-week slog until we get going. And it was at that time when Newcastle were trying to turn themselves around from being that bottom team. So it was a tough preseason, but like I enjoyed it. Like it was the best ever. Like,
is there anyone you remember seeing? Like, and going, holy, that's that person, or any event that happened in the preseason?
It was the year that Mitchell Pearce come, and I've never seen so many cameras rock up when I was like, and it was pretty sick. Like it was like obviously Mitchell Pearce was coming to town. It was a big buzz around everywhere, and it was pretty cool. Like to be able to train alongside him, and like Kalen was there that year, and I think that was the first year he come. So it was a bit of a change in there, and there was some big names coming to Newcastle, and that was pretty cool, and
And so is there any player that you kind of, just watch the intensity at which they train at? Like, my first couple of years, just seeing guys like Webke and that, just how hard they went every session. It was crazy.
I think like Piercy, his first day there, like he didn't start obviously when we started. It was a few weeks after until he signed, I think. And then Nick Meaney was there, and he ran we did a 2K time trial, and Means like, good runner, like long legs, obviously. He smoked it. I think he won it, and like, I was right up the back with big little stumpy legs. 2Ks. I'm more of a beat test. Give me the beat test when I'm
the shuttles.
The shuttles. Yeah. But, my little legs couldn't go the long distance. So, but no, it was there somewhere. But yeah, Means killed it, and then like I think might have had the record for it, and then Piercy come, and then like. Yeah, like there was like 50 cameras there. Like it was all eyes on him, and he was doing his 2K like day one. And I've never seen someone like sprint around an oval like that. Really? Just didn't stop. Like he was so fit. But
first day too.
I think he might have just edged out Means too on his thing. And like, but then I do look back on it and go, you know what? If I had that many cameras on me, I might have been doing the same. I would have been sprinting around everywhere. So, but yeah, like Piercy's training intensity was, and he loved footy. Like it was like footy was like, and it showed like he was such a smart player and stuff like that as a halfback. But
isn't it funny the great players like your Piercy's and that they like you always hear stories about the best ones doing things like that.
Yeah.
Like we had so Darren Lockyer, he was in his like 15th season. We'd already done all the hard stuff, so he wasn't due back to like January, but he came back in December. And you know how you're usually peaking in December, like as in everyone's time's up because you've been doing all the hard stuff.
Yeah.
He came back first day, like literally first day, and got the second fastest fitness time in the entire squad in his 15th season.
Crazy.
And we'd already been training for like 8 weeks.
Yeah.
It's just like, and like,
different
so,
breeds,
yeah, they're
just
different.
crazy.
They're just
love
different.
it. Yeah. So mate, there's some good, like it was at that time, it was still pretty young sort of squad as well.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple of, like the SAF boys were there. They were pretty young at the time, played some NRL, and Jack Cogger was there. Like it was a good sort of crew. It was pretty good because like I've known them boys for a while. Like the Safety boys went to the same school as me, and it was a bit of an easier transition being from that sort of area, knowing a few boys. It wasn't like I was going to another team that I didn't really know anyone. So I knew a few of the boys, and then like Connor Watson ended up coming up there as well. So it was a pretty like easy transition to me. It wasn't too daunting as a young kid coming in and started training first grade. So yeah, it was a good tough pre-season. It sort of put me in good stead for what's to come.
And so that year, did you shift between Jersey Flegg and New South Wales Cup?
Yeah, it was like under 20s, like sort of back and forth. Whatever happened up in the top grade, where if someone got dropped back to play hooker, like then like I'd go back to 20s, and then if they were, it was always sort of, so I was in between both teams here and there.
Do you remember your cup debut?
I do actually. It was against Wentworthville Magpies. It was in Newcastle, and they had a stack side. They had a few good solid NRL players and like some big boys, and I was a little bit nervous, but it was good. I think we won. Simon Wolf was the coach, so yeah, it was good. I still remember that actually. Yeah,
it's a cup debut it's not as big as NRL, but it's pretty big.
Yeah, it's massive
because you're just one step away then.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's also your first time playing like men. Like as a kid, like I would have been probably 18 maybe at the time. Like first time playing men, and this is. My dad said to me, "This is where you test yourself out. You're versing men this time, and like you're not playing kids your own age. This is where you need to step up." So, it was pretty cool. Like, and played a fair bit of cup that year. So, yeah.
Yep. And it sounds like your father had like a lot to do with your kind of career growing up, and knew a little about the lay of the land. Did you used to do training with your father growing up?
Yeah, Dad loved it. Dad was a really hard trainer. It was good. He had a little gym set up in his garage. We used to get up there and do. Me and my brother used to do push-ups, chin-ups with him. He used to love boxing, so we used to get on the bag and do a bit of boxing with him. And yeah, it was good. He made us tough. He made us who we like. You know, made me and my brothers pretty tough. You know, if we were fighting and kicking and scratching each other down in the living room, we go, come on, we'll get up here and put the gloves on and fight like men. You're not kicking and scratching. So me and my brothers are there punching on, going rounds with each other, and Dad's up there teaching us how to do it properly and stuff like that. So yeah, but like I think I sort of fell in love with training because of Dad. Like I always seen it, like he'd drag us up there, come on, do some training with me and stuff like that, and we'd do some old school workouts. You know, 50 push-ups. Who could do, like, how me and my brothers, who could do the most sit-ups?
Oh, really?
Who could do the most push-ups and stuff like that. So Dad loved his training until he sort of had a few health issues. But yeah, he sort of, I guess, instilled in me early on, like, if you want to work, you work hard and things will come for you. And like not even footy-wise, if you want something in life, you got to work hard. Like Mum and Dad used to commute to Sydney every day for work when we were living up on the Central Coast. That's like an hour 40, sometimes 2 hours. Dad's going there to lay bricks every day, and Mum's going into Sydney to work. So I think, like, looking back on it now, I sort of picked up a lot from them. You don't realise at the time, but they work so hard, and I think that instilled me into me and my brothers. Like, you want to work hard for something, you got to go get it. So
it's just it seems like an obvious thing of like, oh, of course, you know, you would train with your sons and that, but especially back then, like, you know, let's just say 20 years ago or whatever, it wasn't as obvious of a thing to do like the weights and the push-ups. Like, whereas now, like, everyone does the gym and everyone, whereas health and fitness 20 years ago, like, you'd almost, if you were doing the gym, you were seen as like a gym junkie. You know, so it's, I mean, the work that you've done with you clearly has paid off. So that year, what prompted the decision to part ways with the Knights and go to the Raiders?
Well, yeah, so I debuted that year. That was...
Oh, so you debuted for the Knights, apologies.
Last round of the year, I debuted. I was coming off contract, and I got the debut at Newcastle. Not many people would know that, but so I debuted there. I thought, like, how good's this? Like,
do you remember the conversation?
I was just at home, and Nathan Brown rang me up. He was in the car with Darren Mooney, who was the football manager at the time, and they just said, look, mate, how you been going? Yeah, going good. Yeah. He goes, look, mate, we're going to put you in the number 14 this weekend. Old boys' day up in Newcastle. You're going to make your debut this weekend. And like, I was like, how good is it? Like, I was so pumped. I was like, trying to hold it on the phone.
Yeah.
And then, they sort of said, I'll see. Like, I was still training. I was training full time, obviously. So we'll see you in at training tomorrow. But they had to get a few things cleared, actually, like, because I wasn't actually in the top 30, or that to prove there was some people injured or whatever. So they're like, we got, like, it's not 100% official, but we'll get it over the line.
Yeah.
So I was like, I tried to ring my mum straight away. She didn't pick up. I rang my dad straight away, and he was excited as. And mum messaged me, said, "What's up? I'm in a meeting." I said, "Leave your meeting," like, or something like that. I got to tell you. And that's the phone call. Like, when you're like close to making the NRL, that's the dream. Like, that's the best phone call you can give is to your mum and dad, and let them know that, like, the thing that you've been working so hard for the last few years is finally paying off. And it was a pretty big day. I had heaps of family come up and stuff. Old boys' day. I was packed out up there at the stadium. So so at the end of that, I thought, I was up here, I was flying like I'm the man. Just got me $3,000 paycheck for debuting. A little matchy.
Do you remember anything from the game?
Yeah, little bits and pieces. It was pretty chaotic. You're like, your first game, running out there, and it was all.
Did you start or come off the bench?
Nah, come off the bench. Played like the last sort of 20 minutes or something. I remember Jack DeBellin gave me a good. We did a short dropout behind, and Jack DeBellin absolutely flogged me. Like, I was a bit rattled getting up. And I remember Chris Hyndon. I think it was the last thing Hyndon ever did on the footy field was come up and stick up for me. So that was pretty cool. As a kid that was watching him play for the West Tigers, Hyndon's last act on the footy field was try and fight the other team for me, because I just got absolutely folded in half. But, don't remember a lot, to be honest. It was all pretty bit of a blur. And then, like, after that, like, I was floating up here thinking, like, I'll get a new deal with the Knights, because it was sort of up in the air if they were going to re-sign me or not. And then,
which is like crazy to think, like, you're a 20-year-old hooker that's like very close to first grade. How could there not be a small deal there for you?
Yeah, well, I think they'll in a period where they needed players right away, like at Newcastle. Like, I never really got an answer. So Darren Mooney, I seen him down the beach a couple of weeks later or something. Like, I went back and played 20s later on that year to finished off the season. We went to the prelim, got knocked out. But so I was ringing my manager going, "Oh, have you heard anything from him?" Like, and he's like, "Oh, I've been trying to get, like, haven't really got matched back from him and that." So a couple of weeks went past, and I ran into Darren Mooney down the beach, and he said, "Oh, we're just having a chat." And he said, "Oh, what have you found, mate? Where are you off to?" And I was like, "Oh, what do you mean?" He goes, "Oh, has no one talked to you or anything?" I was like, "No, not really." And he goes, "Oh, I think they think you're too small. Like, they don't think they're going to be able to play regular first grade." So I was like, "Oh, right." So, because I was messaging manager, "Oh, have you heard back from him?" "Nah, I haven't got anything back from him yet, mate. Still trying to get onto it." I was like, "No worries." Me being naive, like, "Oh, they'll come back with something. They've obviously trying to sort something else out. They'll come back to me." Like I was just set on staying there. Like, I wanted to be there, I wanted to play there. And then, he didn't get it. And then, so that's when I sort of rang manager and I said, "Oh, I think, I don't think I'm going to be here, mate." So we started looking around at other clubs, and it's a funny story, actually. I'll come back to it later. But at the time, I was talking to my mum, we're thinking like, "Oh, I don't have heaps of clubs coming after me. What do you reckon?" Yeah, we're like, "Yeah." My mum's asking, "Where would you like to play?" And I'm saying here and there and that. And it was pretty funny. When I played the Triple C tournament, we played in Canberra. And it was probably the most miserable weather I've seen in Canberra for like a 4-day stretch. And then me and mum actually joked about it at the time. We're like, "Yeah, we're not going to Canberra. No, we're not going to Canberra. Like, we'll go wherever. We'll sort of say it." And then
because at this stage you're about 20 years old and you made your debut.
Probably 19, I'd say. Yeah,
19. And you've debuted in the NRL in a key position.
Yeah, I was floating, and then nothing come through. Like, nothing. I had no. So I had a mate that was going up and playing for Tweed Seagulls. He's working up there, and he mentioned it to their coach up there. So I ended up signing a deal with Tweed Seagulls to go.
No way.
Go play up there. So I went up there, packed me a little Mazda 3 up, and drove up there. Didn't have a house or anything to live at the moment. I stopped in at Byron for a couple of days. School he was on, so I was like, blew through a bit of that $3,000 that I got from me matchies, and then was up there trying to look for some work for the year, and started doing the pre-season training with Tweed Seagulls, and we're trying to find a house with my mate that was already up there. He was just staying at one of his mates' house, and then I was like literally living on this bloke's fold out. The two boys that I met up there through a few of the boys. They had a little fold out lounge that I was just sleeping on while I was still trying to sort my life out up there. And then, one day randomly, Huddo just messaged me and said, what are you doing? I said, "I'm just up in Tweed. Like, what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, mate, we need a hooker down here." I was like, "Oh, really?" Like, yeah. Well, do you want to come down? I said, "Oh, yeah, obviously, mate. Like, that'd be sick. Like, this is Canberra." And I was like, "Oh, I shouldn't have." Like, I've said, "Nah, I'm not going to Canberra." Like, we went there once. It was raining, miserable, cold, and but so. So he messaged me and said, "Oh, Pete Maholan will give you a call." Who was at Newcastle when I was sort of coming through the grade, so he sort of knew who I was. He'll give you a call. And everyone that knows Pete, rest in peace, Pete was a great man and impacted a lot of the young kids' footy NRL careers. So, but if anyone that knows Pete doesn't do anything in a rush. So I was up there for like a little bit, like a week or two went, and I was like, it's fallen through. Something else has happened. So I've gone back home for Christmas. And then literally on Christmas, like the day before Christmas, I get a call from Pete, and I was in the shops trying to buy my mum a Christmas present, I think, and I had no reception. Pete's trying to call me, like I'm answering it, was sort of breaking up a little bit, and then he ended up just texting me saying, "Training trial deal at Canberra for you, be here on the 6th of January or whatever." So I was like, beautiful. Packed my car up, and I was heading down to the capital.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a journey.
So how long between him calling and you did you pack and get in the car and drive down?
Yeah, so sort of, I think it was like January, say the 5th or something, we're going back. So that was just before Christmas. So give me like, a week, 2 weeks or something. I was like, all right, like this is it now. I've got a training trial. I've got to go down there and prove myself and show these Rays what I can do. And it's funny how it all works out like that. Like I still remember, like me and Mum were like, not Canberra. We'll go somewhere, like, whatever it was. But now like Canberra's like, Canberra's home. We've got a home. Like I got a house there, and I love it down there. The people, the place, and I know people say it's like always like, but as I said before, like that 4 days that I was there, I've never seen the weather like it. It was so cold, but it still gets cold down there. But it's beautiful days and stuff like that, and I love it. It's a great place, a great town, great community, stuff like that. So, but it's funny how it all ties back in together. How I ended up there. Yeah,
wow. And then like 100, you played nearly 110 NRL games now, like. Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? You've played 109 NRL games now. Like, that is incredible. Yeah. And it is just such an important story for a young fellow or girl that's like all your career you kind of didn't get told you were too small, and then you make your NRL debut and they say you're too small.
Yeah, after I think that what I was sort of saying too before. Yeah, you can play Harold Max, play SG Ball, play 20s. Like, will he be able to move up to the next start? And then I think the knock on it, will he be able to play it regularly?
Yeah, so it was always just like, anytime you prove them wrong, there was another reason why it didn't work.
Will he be able to do it for, like, he's played NRL, he's been all right. And it still was, I think, when I moved down to the Raiders, played 3 games in 2019, there was still that, like, will he be able to play it consistently? Like, will he be able to go week in, week out? I think I played 3 games that year, that like in a row, and then it was like, will he be able to play for longevity? Like, it's it, as we we mentioned before, it's a tough position. It is tough, but so I do, like, at the time I put that chip on my shoulder and I said, Newcastle, you don't think I'm too small, go and prove it, which I think drove me to another level. But like, and the game changed and helped a lot. Like the 6 again rule and the speed up of the game really brought the small player back. I think like at the time, then you look back then, like the lock forwards were pretty much front rowers at the time, and now you could see the trend now that the ball playing locks come back into play. Like I think like Taps was like a lock back. Like, he can still play lock, but it's like he's more of a front rower now. Where you're getting that, you know what I mean? Like so the Cam Murrays and the Victor Radleys were coming into play a lot when that ball playing lock. We look at Morgan Smithers down with us now. That ball playing lock that's a little bit smaller, that can punch out a lot of minutes, has come into play, and it's brought back smaller hookers as well, and probably a lot smaller players that can speed the game up because of that 6 again rule, which wasn't around at Newcastle. So I can sort of see their side of things looking back on it now, but I still put that little chip on your shoulder.
I guess like any kid that's made his NRL debut in a key position at 19 years old, surely you can go, there might be something here.
Yeah.
If you've played well enough to get the debut at 19 years old, that's crazy. So you get down to Canberra. What was the first few sessions like? Like, were you like just fully all in, like, I'm going to do everything?
Yeah, I was just like training trial deal. It's obviously like nothing's guaranteed. It sort of said, I'll give you up till the start of the season, and then obviously we had the Mounties feeder club. Like, I think that's where we would have went back to and started playing reserve grade there and that. But I just said, like, this is. Like, I was always pretty optimistic as myself. Like, I got down on myself when I didn't get an NRL deal anywhere else and I had to go up to Tweed. But I was still, pretty optimistic about what I could do. Up there, I was like, I'll get picked up by the Gold Coast Titans and stuff. I'll play in this, in Q Cup and carve up and do what I want to do and hopefully get picked up. So I was still optimistic. I still had that drive that, like, I've had a taste of it. And I'm like, all I ever wanted to play was one game, but then I got a taste and I was like, now I want to play 50 games. And when I play 50 games, you want to play, like, you just keep moving forward. So, moving down there, I was like, I'm just going to train the house down. I'm going to do everything I can to put myself in a position to get, be here for a full year and be able to play regular reserve grade and put myself in a position to hopefully play first grade. And it's a credit to Stick and Pete Mulholland down there at the time to see through, the undersized kid, which is fair enough. Like, I am undersized, I admit that, but but they could see that the hard work I put in and the my mentals behind everything was I wasn't going to give up until I had no more left in me. So
And so you get down to Canberra. At what point did you start going, I actually might make my club debut from, you reckon?
Yeah, so so Stick called me in the office and asked, how do you reckon going? This was a couple of weeks before round 1. I said, I think I'm going all right. What do you reckon? Like, didn't I give him too much rain? Pete was in there and he goes, yeah, mate, you're going good. We're going to put you on a rookie deal and then we're going to put you in the top 30 next year. So they ended up giving me a 2-year deal on the back of that training trial. Like, I went in there, I ripped in. Like, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I went in there, I was trying to learn. Like, I had Josh Hodgson there to learn off, and like Hodger at the time was arguably probably the best 9 at the comp in the comp at the time, like that 2018 season, and before that he was just carving up. So I was just a sponge around him. I was trying to learn everything I can off him, and I got a 2-year deal off that, and then went back to, we played the Mounties system there. So mate, we had a pretty solid side. Like, we had first graders sort of in and out of that team every year, each week, and was playing some pretty consistent footy, and then I was part of the squad and part of everything. And then unfortunately Hodjo, he broke his thumb sort of midway through the season there, and he was going to be out for a couple of weeks. And we're up in Mount. We're up in Sydney getting ready for a game, and then our coach Pete Maripodi come down. We were just down there watching the game. We seen Hodjo go off with his hand, and then people, you're in next week, mate. I'm like, I don't know, mate. Like, they think I'm like, I'm in for sure. Nah, but, so the Pete Maripodi come down and said, oh, mate, just relax, put your feet up. You're not playing tomorrow. You're in contention to play next week. And then when I got back into Canberra, like on that Sunday or Monday training or whatever it was, Stick said, we're gonna play this week, mate. So it was a pretty cool moment. Like, I worked my way up to a debut at Newcastle, and then had this big fall, like where I didn't get picked up, and then had to pick myself up off the ground, and then work my way, like go back on a training trial deal and work my way back up into contention. And then I often joke to a few of our coaching staff, like our kit man down in Canberra, that this is my real debut. This is the Raiders one. That one meant a lot, because it like had to pick myself up and get myself back off the deck, and tell myself I'm good enough to do it, and not listen to you're too small or whatever it is. Pick yourself up and give it another crack. So it was pretty special. Like I remember in the hotel room before the game, my mum wrote out this big massive message, and just saying how proud she was, and how pretty much that had to pick yourself off the ground and keep going and keep fighting. And it was a pretty special moment. Had another big crowd there at ANZ against the Bulldogs. We got the win there too, which made it good.
And so, you're sitting in the little changing rooms. You got the Raiders jersey on. Do you remember anything specifically from the game? Because although it's not your debut, it genuinely would have felt like a debut.
It did. Honestly, like as I say, like I hold that probably more special than my debut. Yeah. Because I had to fight through a bit of adversity at the Knights. I had a good like a trend moving forward. I was making all the teams, doing this, and as you sort of said, winning the awards and all this sort of stuff, and then to have it all just pretty much just go like that straight away. Like, you're not getting your debut, but not getting the deal. So you're like, shit, like where do I go from here? So it was pretty special. Like, it was a pretty big game for us. I think it was Origin, so I had a few players out, and obviously Hodjo went down. It was as we sort of mentioned before, was carving up. So it was and the boys were killing it. Like, there was a year the boys went to the grand final. So it was a big game against Bulldogs at ANZ. There, it was like a must win, and it was a grind and battle. It was a bit greasy as it gets there at Core Stadium, but it was a good battle. I remember I made a good sideline tackle and stick down to the sideline. Go on you, Tommy, well done, mate. Like, give me that pump up. So it was a special day. And then like Raiders are really good about bringing your family in, so I got to bring my whole family into the changing sheds, and everyone got to meet Stick and the players, and they thought it was the greatest day ever. Like all my dad's mates were there drinking and having a good night. So it was a pretty cool moment. And then
okay, so you have those 3 games, and then like you would have been. Were you a part? Like, did you go to the grand final with the squad? Yeah. So we went up to Sydney with them, and like sort of that. Our reserve grade sort of regular players, but we were in the squad. We went up there and did an opposed session with them on the Wednesday, and then we stayed up there with them for most of the week. And then what an experience! Like a year ago, you're in your mate's house on a fold-out bed for the couch. And now you're a part of a squad in a grand final.
It was pretty cool. And going to Raiders was a real eye-opener for me too. Like the intensity that they trained at, and like that pre-season, like I went down in Christmas, but the start of 2019, it was tough. That was, and it was like we're getting into it like most weeks. The opposers and stuff, like it was full on. And at the time, we had some pretty like competitive dudes, and it was eye-opening. The people that like it wasn't blues, but there was always arguments. It's like it was getting into it, like pushing shoves and stuff at training, and so like I was like, this is the club I want to be at. Like it was a good environment. It was like everyone's competing, everyone's getting into it, and then as you said, like being able to be a part of that team that played in that side, and being around that team that was so good. Like they were minutes away from winning the grand final in 2019, and then like to be a part of the team that contributed throughout the year, and that crucial part in Origin there, where a lot of players were in and out of Origin, like, and then obviously Hodjo going down to me, just being a part of helping to contribute to that was a pretty special moment. So it definitely helped me shape the rest of my career, was being a part of that team, and a lot of really good players in that team.
Then so 2019 happens, the grand final happens. The next year, Hodgson goes down with his ACL injury. And so you basically from round 10 onwards, you rotate with Havili playing hooker. I guess like for you that year, because it was such a good year for yourself, you're truly just going like, wow, like not necessarily like I've made it, but also I've achieved everything I knew I could inside, you know?
Yeah. I think that was the year that I was a big year. Like I had to prove myself that I can play week in, week out, play that regular first grade. And I think it helped being in a really good side. Like we went to the prelim that year in my first year, like playing sort of full time. So yeah, it was a big year for me. That I had to go out there and prove it, and and show stick and show everyone else that I can play regular first grade and week in, week out footy.
Yep. And so, what do you remember the most from that season?
Mate, I remember, like, I lived with Hutto at the time, mate. We were just like, and Hutto obviously played the year before a fair bit, and then had a few suspensions and stuff. But that was the first year we were sort of playing full time together, and like it was so sick. We're like, oh, who we got this week? We're coming up against these people that we're watching, or like as a kids playing, and mate, it was a pretty cool year. Like it was obviously a COVID year, but so it was just like we're pretty much just locked in our house and go to training and then come home and then go to a game. So but yeah, it was pretty cool. Like be able to play regular first grade, and like you didn't get the full experience of it because of COVID, but it didn't matter. Like we could have played in the car park at the back as long as I was playing rugby league, playing in the NRL. It was a dream come true, and we went on this unbelievable run. I think we won like, I can't remember. It was like 14 in a row, like or something. Like it was it was like 10 in a row. We went on like when like Hodjo went down, and there was the big talks. Like obviously Hodjo's who he was, and he's a freak. And the team was built to go. It was built ready to go to the finals and go deep into the finals. And Hodjo going down with his ACL was a big talking point in the media that Raiders probably won't be able to do it without Hodjo and stuff like that. So a lot of the boys had to step up into some roles, and I took it upon myself that I have to obviously not be Josh Hodgson, but I'll come in and play my game of footy and try and help this team win. So we went on a really good run and made the finals, and went on a pretty good run from there as well.
And so the prelim against Melbourne, I mean, it would have been the biggest game of your career to date. Yeah. Do you remember that game?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like Cam Smith was playing, like we sort of spoke about him before, like him being the pinnacle of a dummy half, and like crazy. Like Melbourne was a different beast at that time, and we gave it a good shake, but we fell short. But it was a pretty surreal experience. It's something that you sort of took for granted at the time. Like when you first full year of coming into first grade, and the year before the team went to a grand final, and then prelim, you're like, that's the standard now, and that's what I live up to now. Like it's making finals and going deep in the finals, or it's a failure. So we had a couple of really big games that year. Like that was the year that Sonny Bill come back. It was his first game back. Was in Canberra, and had the Sonny Bill cam on him and stuff like that. So there was some big games, and we played the Roosters at SCG. We knocked them out in a final match to go into the prelim. Like that was a massive
sweet for you guys.
Yeah, it was so cool, like to be part of that at SCG, and playing in that game. That was a pretty special night. That one, that was probably one of my favourite games I've been a part of, was winning that game. And it was a big year. Like it all happened so quick. 1 minute you're sort of sitting on the lounge, and like it was very similar to what it was at the start of that year. I was coming off contract, and there was no reserve grade footy getting played because it was only NRL. So like I was sort of sitting there just going like, I don't really know what's beyond this. Like I might just have to get like another, like maybe the Raiders will keep me around. I don't really know. It was a bit of an unknown at that time. Like, and then obviously got my crack, and then I just couldn't look back and had to take it with two hands. Okay, so the prelim final, what do you remember from that against the Storm? Not a whole lot, to be fair. I remember we were down. We went to and by like they shot out to an early lead.
Yeah, because they were flying. That year.
They were. They shot out to an early lead, and then Stick, because I was obviously coming off the bench. Stick just said, "I'm going to need you here. I need you to bring some impact." And he sort of held on to me and said, "Like you're going to go on a crucial part. I need you to lift it." And then I can't remember the exact score went on, but I was like, I just got to bring that energy. But Melbourne being Melbourne, they just suffocated us, and we couldn't find our way to get up there. We gave it a good crack towards the end there, but their defence that year was unbelievable. They went on winning it that year. So we gave it all, but we just fell a bit short.
And so you signed a 2-year extension at the club, and now you're full time. Yeah. You got your 2-year extension. That feeling of signing that dotted line would have been pretty special. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was probably like after my training trial, I got my rookie deal, and then I got that year of top 30 development. The top 30 deal with them. But that was my real sort of first. Here we go, like proper good contract. Yeah. Like, here we go. So it was pretty cool. Very mate. It's like such a milestone in your career to get that, like, It's not a train and trial. It's not a minimum deal. It's like it's not like it's like fucking $1 million. But it's just an deal to help you live.
You're sort of getting what you're you feel like you're worth. So it was pretty cool. And
And so round 20, so the next year, you played at 19 games. You guys miss out on finals, but you break your jaw in round 22.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming this is probably your biggest injury to date.
I've been pretty fortunate with injuries. I've been pretty good. I try to look after myself as much as possible. That was towards the back end of the season. Went up in the hub up in the Gold Coast and broke my jaw. That was my hectic cheese's knee got the better of me. I went low on him and he got me good. So but we were still in contention to make the finals, and I told Stick, I'll get the clearance. I think it was 3 weeks post-surgery, 3.5 weeks, we could have had a game. And I said, Stick, I'll be back. I'll get the clearance. Just let's make the finals. Unfortunately, the boys fell a bit short, but I was ready to go. I wasn't missing out on the finals game. I was ready to come back and get into it.
Ooh, broken jaw. Yuck. I guess getting through that injury, did it phase you that much?
Nah, that was
not really.
I moved on pretty quick.
Cool.
I pretty much had the surgery next day. I was down the river having a fish with Hutto and Jackie White. So
it didn't worry you at all with your tackling? You never...
No, never. I was straight away. I was started eating the big Hubba Bubba gums to try and strengthen my jaw back up. I was like, I can't be having my jaw broken. So, I moved on. Didn't worry me
pretty quick. 2022, you play every game for the Raiders. You guys finish 8th. You qualify for the finals. You play in both finals matches, eventually getting eliminated by Para, who would, funnily enough, go on to play in the grand final just like Melbourne did. So the 2 years before that. So it's 2 teams that go on to play in the GF.
Yeah.
I guess that season for you, do you reckon that's when you started to kind of go from rookie to I need to be more than just a rookie that's kind of just doing their job? Yeah,
you gotta develop your game and keep improving every year and every week, every day, really. You got to just keep trying to make yourself better. And that's ultimately the goal, I think, for every player is be the best player that you can be. Don't leave any stone unturned. Make sure you're attacking each day and trying to make yourself better and, making your team better and stuff like that. So you got to, obviously, you have that good sort of rookie-ish sort of year or whatever it is, and then you got to start develop your game, and then even off the field, you got to start bringing some players with you and making sure they're all right and making sure they're achieving their goals and stuff like that. So I had a couple of really good senior leaders around me when I sort of come in and help me along the way. So if I can help young kids out coming into grade at the moment, navigate their way through some things and whatever it is, footy wise or off the field is something that I'd like to give back to people, and I try my best to, because I had some really good leaders around me that helped me get through some stuff and help me get to where I am today. And
so through some stuff. So was it 22 or 23 when the whole off-field drama happened?
It was 2020.
2020.
So it was the year. It was straight away after that first year.
Way.
Yeah.
It's because the court case didn't finish till 20.
It was three to bit years, 4 years until it pretty much finished. So
Can you talk about that at all?
Yeah,
or you'd rather just
I
move
can
on
go
from
into it for sure.
Yeah.
No,
So 2020.
2020 is that my sort of rookie year, you'd say. It was again. I'm flying up here. I'm just,
mate.
I'm playing good footy. I'm playing first grade. I'm loving life, and go home to one of my mates' 21st birthdays and. The whole world comes crashing down, mate, pretty quickly.
Wow.
It was pretty crazy at the time what was happening, and I didn't really understand the magnitude of how big it was. Obviously, I knew there'd be something about it, but it hit you like a ton of bricks. Like I was breaking news on Channel 9, Channel 7, Channel 10, all the media outlets. It was like I had people rocking up to my house trying to get a quote from me, and cameras hiding in the bushes and shit. It was pretty crazy. I didn't realise how big it would have been at the time, really. But I was breaking news. Tom Starling's assaulted 6 police officers and grabbed a firearm. So it was pretty crazy.
And it's one thing if that was even semi-true.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fact that it came out to be false, as in literally got, so in the end the result was they ended up getting...
Yeah. So there's 2 police officers going to court at the start of this, so the year come 2025, there's I think it's February or something, I've got to go attend that as well. So there's 2 officers being charged with assault on me, and
I guess walk us through the events of what happened, if you can.
Yeah, again, I just got to be a little bit careful with what I say, just because I do have to go to court for them. So,
okay.
but
Don't worry about it.
Look, it happened that night, and I think the outcome it's been the most disappointing part of it. As you sort of said, it's been going on for 3-4 years. My family's had to deal with it for that long, and I've had at the time I was only a young kid, just come on to play NRL. So, as you sort of mentioned before, what was it, 109 NRL games? I think only got cleared at the start of this year. So I've probably only played 80%. I guess 80% of my NRL career. I guess I've had these court cases handed over my head. So I look back at myself and say I've done pretty well to sort of navigate through it, and I've had a really good support system to help me do that, because of the club was really good, and all the boys are that. I wouldn't be able to get through it without them. And then obviously my family, my mum and dad, and my partner and my brothers were all really good. But as a kid, you're trying to navigate yourself through to play NRL regularly and be the best you can and prepare yourself for that. But then you also got this whole other have a love of life going on where you have to deal with all this stuff going on. So it's been a tough period, but I made a promise to myself when it first happened that this wasn't gonna break me. This wasn't gonna stop me from playing my dream, and the thing that I've been working so hard for to reach was I wasn't gonna let this break me. And I sort of turned it on them. I said, "Don't let these motherfuckers ruin my life and my career that I've worked so hard for." So, looking back on it now, did it affect me? At the time, I didn't think it would have as much, but I just tried to take every day it was. But looking back on it, I don't care who you are, you put yourself in that position sometimes. You put someone in that position as I said, navigate his way to play regular first grade and be a first grader. It's as hard as is, instead of having to deal with all that other stuff. So,
and did it affect you negatively, this whole ordeal? Yeah,
100%, mate. You put anyone through that, it not just in you, your whole family, and the whole outlook in life. It just changes what you perceive. And growing up, you look as police officers, they always do the right thing and all this sort of stuff. And the shit that they put me and my family through is just it affected us massively. It affected me, week in, week out at footy. I tried my best to get on with it, but I went and seen a counsellor and tried to get through it all. And
it feels like you'll live with it forever.
Oh, 100%. I respect the police officers. They got a tough job in that, but I don't think I could ever look at I can't look at that situation and look at anything positive coming out of that. It was 3 years of hell for my family, and what we went through was very tough. We got through it, but we got financially put through it, and then also had the emotional thing that you can't get back. You can't get back your time, and
it's changed you forever.
Yeah, 100%. And the time that we had to put towards trying to get ourselves off and all that sort of stuff, it's tough to come back from that. But we got through it. As I sort of said, as a family, I'm really proud how we dealt with it. We got through it. But as you said, it's tough on a young kid to go through that, especially with 2 brothers as well. They went through it as well.
Yep.
But I'm proud of how me and my family handled it. We did it the right way. We had we got that footage that you've no doubt seen.
Yep.
We had that within probably a couple of months,
and they just kept
I had to sit on it because I wasn't allowed to.
Yeah.
You can't show it, mate. The amount of times I had that sitting in my Instagram story, I was like, I'll take my dog for a walk and I'd get myself so worked up over the whole situation. My family's forking out so much money, and then the pressure of that level. If I was just a bloke that worked on a job at a job throughout the week, we wouldn't have had we would have got a plea deal and that's overdone with. No worries, move on. Would have been nothing. But because my job depended on me not getting charged with anything, we had to fight this. And so I had the pressure of making sure that I don't let my family down for spending all this money to try and help me and my brothers get off this thing. Where if I started playing bad footy, didn't get a new deal, then all this has just gone to nothing. We've been doing for this full fight, and I've still got that sort of on me. I've got to make sure I'm out there, prove myself week in, week out to make sure this was all worth it. So it was a tough period. Family, we're in the thick of it. We're a no nonsense family. We just like to go about our thing, and to be thrust into the limelight like that in a bad way, which sort of sucked for the family. But as I sort of said before, I'm pretty proud about how my family handled it. We did it the right way. Went the right way through it. We let the court case handle itself, and our lawyers do everything they can to help us out. So tough period for us, but we got through.
And just for clarity, the end result for you personally was everything, all charges lifted, gone.
Gone, yeah. Everything was done. It's involved in that incident, yeah.
And it's not like, it wasn't a matter of there wasn't enough evidence and it's still vague. Like, genuinely.
Yeah, you just got thrown out.
Everything completely thrown out. Yeah. Charges dropped.
Yeah.
And everything. So, pure innocence, pretty much.
Yeah. So, it was, it's pretty crazy to look on. Like, we had to go to court for like 12 days. I think it might have been born. I don't know. Like, but it was in season a couple of years ago. There was a few games there where I couldn't train all week and because I was at court, and then there was a game where I had to fly up to Brisbane the night before. Like, got in at like 12 o'clock or whatever, got the red eye, whatever it was back there. Like, because I've been in court all week, didn't train all week. Like, I was sort of just, when I'd get home, I'd go for a jog or something down the park and throw a couple of footies with my little brother to keep myself ready for that weekend's game. Like, and credit to Stick, he knew what I was about, and it wasn't. And I was under it to me. I'm not going to let this affect me. I want to provide for the keep going with the team, and I don't want this to affect me. He goes, no, I need you out there, so you make sure you're ready to go when these court things were going on. So, pretty hectic, pretty crazy story to have. Like, I could sit here for days, mate, and tell you the ins and outs of it all. And
wait till it's all done and everything.
It's pretty much all done. So it's just got to go through the court with these two police officers now, which I'm still a bit upset. There needs to be an investigation pretty much into the whole thing, mate. It was an absolute shit show, if I'm being honest with you. But
well, from my perspective, and this is just my opinion, I can't believe they continued to pursue charges. Like, the fact that they continued to pursue charges, even though knowing what they knew. But anyway, it is what it is.
I think that was part of their just take a chunk out of us. They knew what we'll have to cough up, and
they knew what
this is me thinking that, but they knew what we had to go through. I think they were hoping for a bit of a Hail Mary in there, maybe, hoping for a miracle but it was a shit show. But as I said, like, I was pretty proud about how my family handled it and how we handled it. And
mate, to go on and play the way you did, having that hanging over your head, it's a credit to you and your family, absolutely, mate.
And to be fair, the boys are always good about it. They put your arm around you when you need you. I think it happened on a Saturday, and we had pre-season training on a Monday. Yeah, and then I come in and my face was all battered up and that, all cameras and shit everywhere. And then I come in and the boys made sure I was all right. But then I can't remember who it was. One of the boys made a joke. Did you at least get one on them or something like that, mucking around, or we might need to get you in boxing training or something like that. So it was like, being able to be around the boys, and there's nothing like a footy locker room. They just make everything there was times away from the facility where I struggled, but coming in and hanging around the boys made it so much better for me. And so it was
and so that all finishes this year. I guess 2023, you play the 23 games and you finish 8th. What was that game like heading up to play Newcastle? Because everyone wrote you off, including myself. I just didn't know if you had it left in your legs to do it. And I know you ended up still just losing, but it was such a good performance. Yeah, it
was a heartbreaker, that one. Look, to be fair, we sort of limped over the line there. We had a few injuries and sometimes had some inconsistent performances, but sort of what I spoke on to before, like, Ricky Stewart's coach side's going to be in the fight. It don't matter, don't matter who he's got. He's going to get that team up. And that week was, it was pretty special. Like, we had a few of the Knights boys still, like, obviously there's a few of the Knights, we call ourselves the stray dogs, that just sort of got sent down to the carers. A few of the boys that played at Newcastle and got let go. And Stick's really good at being able to shape a week into why we got to win this game. He's the master,
giving you a motivation,
master motivator, and he's so good at that, so passionate. And then that was our thing going out there. Like, no one it was good. Like, let's feed into these storylines. Let's read about them. No one let's go out there, and we've got no pressure on us. Let's go out there and do it. And credit to the Newcastle, they just got it over us in the end there. But that week was a big week. Like, being able to go out there and try and knock them off in round one. Like, it was like almost a full circle moment. Unfortunately, a few calls didn't go away. That's footy. That's what happens.
Mate, do you have any hobbies outside of footy at all?
Yeah, a bit of golf. Try to play golf, but we've got a good little crew down there that play golf. And rip in. And
who goes all right?
Well, Rapper's good.
Yeah,
Jordan
okay.
Rapani, he's a freak. But he's good now, so I'm going to move up into the ranks of number one golfer at the team. He's off the hole, so I'm the number one as of November 1. I'm the new number one golfer. A few of the boys might not be too happy about that, but Big Puppy, he hits the ball well and taps. There's a few of the younger boys. Heaps of the younger boys are getting into it too.
Yeah.
So,
it hasn't golf boomed lately.
It has, yeah.
It's crazy.
It's such a good sport. Like, it's you against you, but obviously we sometimes play for cash against the boys, and it's always just a good laugh. It's better than just sitting inside all day and doing nothing. The boys get out together, have a laugh, and a few rage quits and whatever, and a few clubs thrown in the bushes. But it's always good fun. So a bit of golf, mate. But I'm pretty cruisy. Like to go to the gym or whatever, and I've got 2 little dogs that keep me busy as well. So take them for a walk keeps me busy.
And how long are you signed for at the moment?
This is I'm on my last year at the moment. So
as in 2025, your last year?
Yeah. Well, coming into the off contract season, so a bit of a big year for me.
Have you begun talks at all with the club?
Not as yet. No, nothing yet. So I'm just going to try and be where my feet is. Like I think I've been pretty good with that over my career. With be where your feet are, be in the moment. There's managers and all that sort of stuff out. So, the club's been really good to me, and it's a great place. The people inside are really good people and stuff like that. But I've got to prove to them that that they want me around, and the right situation's got to be right as well. So it's big off season coming up for us, especially as a team moving forward. Got to bounce back from last year, and obviously individually, obviously coming in an off contract year, and see what happens from there.
And ask all the boys your favourite rapper of all time.
Favourite rapper?
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough. I love that 21 Savage.
Yeah, okay.
But at the moment, I've been smashing Big X the Plug.
Big X the Plug?
Have you seen him?
Okay.
He's a big dude. Big X is pretty. But yeah, give him a listen. I've been smashing him. He's the dude that sings that Texas song. You probably would have heard the Texas song. It's pretty big.
The country song?
No. I'll show you after this. Okay, it's a good song. Okay. But yeah, I've been smashing him. But then obviously got your. Everyone watched the Biggie Smalls movies and the Tupacs and stuff like that. 50 Cents. But the sort of modern rapper is 21 Savage or Drake or something like that. But then I've been smashing Big X the Plug. So hopefully Big X the Plug says
shout out. Favourite movie of all time?
I'm a real movie buff. I love me movies. Okay. But I'll have to go. I've named me dogs after this. Is Legend with Tom Hardy in it. It might be taken over by The Gentleman at the moment with the Guy Ritchie film. With
have you been watching The Gentleman?
Yeah,
TV
the TV
series?
show, that was sick.
Do you like it?
It was mad. I really enjoyed it. But I'll have to go Legend with the Cray twins. Yep. I really like that. Tom Hardy plays both of the twins in it, and so that's what my dog's called is Reggie, named after that. So Reginald Cray. So I'd probably go. I'd have to go Legend. But then, again, if you go a comedy movie, I love The Other Guys with Will Ferrell. Yeah, classic. Mate, I think I know every word in that thing.
When they're like, I know what we can do. Let's jump.
Yeah, aim for the bushes.
The best, mate. Thank you so much for joining us, brother. What a bloody journey, man. What a bloody journey. Loved hearing that.
It's it's all a part of it, mate. The journey. It's the old cliche. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. And to be able to tell a few stories and a few yarns when you're tired, I think that's the ultimate dream is be able to say you overcome this, or what about this, or you did well there. So I appreciate you having me on and let me spin a few yarns. Yep, appreciate it, mate. And hey, the journey's still halfway, mate. Only 26 years old. Can't wait to watch. I've got to get in. Hudson, Young supplements. Yeah. I've tried it actually. Yeah. Yep. I've actually the chocolate. He sent it to me. It's beautiful. Yeah. He when I told him I was coming to the podcast, as I was typing, yes, I'm going to wear my Young Sup shirt. He said, make sure you wear your Young Sup shirt. So, I know, there you go, brother. I got it for you, mate. Yeah, get out there and buy some supplements. Can recommend as well because I literally have it. He sent it to me. Matter of fact, I've finished it, so I need another amount. That's how good it is. Yeah, he's hard to get. You've done well there. I haven't even got a batch yet. So far out. I've got to get my batch first. Mate, playing for Australia, you can't even hook the boys up. He's stingy, that bloke. Oh, my God. There you go. Young Sups. All right, shout out Young Sups. Love that. Boom.